Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Salmon17. Before I start this video, I wanted to say that I will be deleting my, why about Christmas movies video because I was kind of like super tired. I didn't have any ideas what to do for a video, so I did this video because for reasons and because I wanted people remind what Christmas is all about, but I was kind of off topic here, but especially with the title of the video, so I'm gonna delete it, and I do apologize because I wanted to improve my channel and I want to do my best to, give quality content for my channel as best as I could, but because of my terrible voice when I talk through the microphone and my lack of confidence when it comes to drawing, because my drawing skills are terrible and whatnot, and yeah, but still, I wanted to do this video because this is one of my biggest passions, one of the most childhood things I wanted to talk about. So yeah, so we're gonna continue talking about the video in the title. So I'm sorry if I wasted your time, but that's all I wanted to say. See you guys in the next video. Hey, this is Salmon17, and this is a topic I really wanted to talk about. I originally wanted to do a review for Spider-Man Homecoming, basically my own opinion, what things I liked and what things I didn't like about the movie, but I thought, because today I'm gonna watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse at 9:15 p.m. because it's the only English version that is airing in my country so far, because for some reason for animation they don't air English versions in broad daylight, because we need our main language or Russian languages, because these are the only good languages you can actually need to learn in this country for whatever reason, even though English is needed all over the world if you want to live in other countries. But that's besides the point. I wanted to talk about a topic I've been talking about for a while, and I don't know if everyone will agree, but I wanted to talk about why action cartoons are important for children. As you guys could tell, action cartoons are kind of really lacking in a lot of ways. Aside from Netflix and Cartoon Network, a network that was specifically had actually both balance of action and comedy cartoons in their separate genres, now we have just the same bland generic art style, happy endings, no real threats and whatever, and social media and jokes and whatever. But Nickelodeon, on the other hand, doesn't air any cartoons whatsoever. They only air The Loud House and SpongeBob SquarePants, even though rest in peace the creator of SpongeBob, but still, I wanted to talk about this, why action cartoons are really important. If you guys don't know, I love action cartoons. I grew up with them because they taught me so much more than anything comedy related shows. Of course, there's some comedy related shows that give you a lesson or whatever, but they're supposed to make you laugh, not cry your tears out or give you any lessons. They're supposed to make you laugh. But with the recent development of comedy cartoons, I feel like comedy cartoons are not as good compared to the late 90s and mid 2000s, but that's besides the point as well. But with action cartoons, it helped me look at the world in a different way. It taught me that the world is a cruel place, but I should never give up on being the person that I am today, and the person I want to grow up with. And with action cartoons, it helps kids to be more responsible, help them become more brave, it also helps kids to be smarter, to be more mature when they grow up older. And when you watch these action cartoons, you don't go overboard with the whole violence thing like in animes. While animes do it, it still creates a world where you see this amazing type of heroes that actually do their best to actually do their hero work, that don't always crack jokes all the time, or 100% being very irresponsible when it comes to their powers or whatnot. They still try to be there for other people, and also if they are a team of superheroes like the original Teen Titans are, they try to support each other in any ways they can, so they don't feel like they're outcasts of other world. And it helps children to actually be more social, and also try to be supportive of other people, especially when they're feeling bad. But a lot of people see action cartoons as just nothing but bland violence and nothing else, especially the parents who, especially in Australia. When I watched Diamond Bolt's video about Ben 10, when he grew up with the show, his parents didn't let him watch the show because Australia media said the show was way too violent, it's not meant for kids, and yada yada yada. And Red Wolf 316 did, or 316. I'm sorry if I mess up these stupid. I'm not the best at math, okay? But but Red Wolf did a video about SWAT Cats. He's a big fan of SWAT Cats, and I never originally watched SWAT Cats, but I am planning to maybe get a DVD collection, the full series for SWAT Cats. But I heard the SWAT Cats was canceled because the show was too violent, and that is really stupid, considering I think Batman Beyond is more violent than SWAT Cats, but what do I know? But still, a lot of these amazing shows like Spectacular Spider-Man, the original Teen Titans, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes are all cancelled because of corporate greed and, Disney buying fucking everything. Like, god damn it, Disney, stop buying everything, seriously. That is just killing an entertainment industry as a whole. But still, but action cartoons are more than just, pure action. It's also about storytelling, it's about consequences, it's about you doing your part as, as a human being. Try to do your best to do good for the world, even though the other people don't appreciate your good work. You still need to try to do your part of your part of what you are. If you're a good person, that's what makes these action cartoons great. Case in point, the original Teen Titans show is about like being there together, trying to balance out good and evil, and not having your friendship and family fall apart. If there's one person, if one person goes, then the entire family or friendship is just poof, gone forever. Like,
what has happened? Why is it cold? And where are my friends? Friends? Hello? Friends? Hello? Cyborg! Oh, Cyborg, thank goodness you are...
Yo! Who's up here blasting my... Star? Starfire. I don't believe it. You haven't aged a day.
Cyborg, what has happened? Why are you...
Old? Well, that's what happens to folks when you go away for 20 years.
20 years?
You disappeared, Star. That battle with Warp, that was a long time ago. You fell through a wormhole and... Welcome to the future.
The future? But... I damaged his technology.
Warp was planning to jump ahead 100 years, right? Looks like you stopped him at 20.
Still, I am confused. Please, why are you in disrepair?
Let's just say things haven't gone so well since you left.
But what of the other Titans? Where are our friends?
The Titans are history, Star. Your friends aren't friends anymore.
No. You are wrong. Everything is wrong. How could such terrible things...
One of the reasons why I love the original Titans is the fact that it teaches you how to appreciate other people, no matter how different they are, no matter if they're a different race or they're mentally or physically disabled, which I am. No matter how different we are, we need to try our best to appreciate one another, no matter how bad we are. No, I'm not saying you should do this with everyone, because there are some people that who maybe are different like this, but they're not a good people. Try to help people that you feel like you fully understand that are good. You can actually read from their facial expressions or from their lack of emotion, or try to help those kind of people that truly need help, and you might actually make a friend, or not feel like you're alone, like I am, because I'm antisocial. But still, this is what I love about the original Titans, because it actually helps you to be more open, helps you to be more brave, and try to be less insecure. The original Titans I loved because the characters, you can actually reflect your own emotions, your own personality into these characters. Starfire is very joyful, but there are times she's very shy, she doesn't understand Earth culture, she feels like she's an outcast, and that is really reasonable, because I also kind of feel like I'm very different and people don't appreciate me that much. And another part is Raven. She's very antisocial. She doesn't show a lot of emotions. She tries to keep her identity a secret, so she's afraid, so she doesn't hurt her friends' feelings. Cyborg is different because he's half robot, half human, and because of his, robotic parts, having less limitations, and him feeling like a human being, he's basically like, Cyborg basically reflects on, like, crippling depression. Get that meme out of my face, fuck's sake, that meme is overdone to death. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about my outbursts, but you know what I mean. People who are mentally and physically disabled can do things that other people can do who doesn't have these problems, and they feel like outcasts, like I was in many years. But this is what I really like about Teen Titans, because there are characters you can really relate to on a personal level, and you don't see that in a lot of cartoon shows in nowadays. Now, a lot of people might argue, yeah, we have Steven Universe and whatnot, but I don't feel the connection with Steven Universe like I do with the original Teen Titans, because with Steven Universe, the problem is the show has been really, how should I put this, like, stale. One of my biggest complaints I have with Steven Universe is the fact that everything revolves around Steven. He's very nice, he's really kind, and every time Steven shows up, all the world's problems are fixed for some reason. And even though they're like spoilers for those who haven't watched Steven Universe finale, Steven Universe defeats the diamonds by telling them the truth, and instead of, you know, try to defeat the diamonds, even though they create a mass genocide all over the galaxy or whatever, and he's like, no, we're family, we need to be friends, and that's how the episode ends, and the diamonds become good guys. Like, it doesn't work, and I know Rebecca Sugar is gonna pull some bullshit making White Diamond a good guy. Like, that's now how it works. And I'm gonna talk about villains sometime later in some aspects in this video, but bear with me on this. But I'm gonna talk about it later. Another case in point about, do you know how I said about how action cartoons also reflect on the cruelties, the bad stuff of reality? And Batman Beyond and even Batman the Animated Series really showcases the bad aspects of the reality, showing that greedy corporate people always get away with what they want. But if they are people like, you know, Batman, who, even though they are like these big rich people, money people or whatever, they show they still have a heart and they still care about, you know, making the world a better place. Like, for example, there was an episode about Poison Ivy where Batman is getting a call by destroying an endangered plant life that they want to make like a hotel or something, and Bruce declines it because, you know, you can't just do that without the guy's permission. No matter how much money you owe Bruce, he still refuses that because he's still good at heart. He doesn't care. He cares about other people. He cares about the environment. He cares about making a world a better place.
I don't care how much money we'll lose. I won't have Wayne Enterprises involved in an operation that destroys a rainforest. Shut it down or you're gone. One of my greedy directors made a deal with a slash and burn outfit in the Amazon.
It's fortunate you caught it in time.
I hate it when things slip by me.
And with me helping you to answer your mail, nothing will.
Even though his vigilantism as Batman half the time is kind of, you know, wrong, but at the same time it's also good. But it's still, Batman is not a bad guy. He's still a hero that tries to do good things, try to make Gotham City a safer place, and try to stop these corporate greedy people from getting away with their corporate greed, and you know what I mean. And Batman Beyond shows the cruelty of, you know, child abuse, animal abuse,
Come on, you scrawny little mutt. Show me what you're made of. Go for it. Go for it. That's it, fella. Tear it up. I want you mean. What? What the fuck?
What else? The overworking of child mental health, like for example schools. We live in a world where school education is so cruel, especially for children who still go to middle school or high school. They pressure kids to do better and giving them less recess time. So that is the education system that is happening kind of happening in my school, like giving them less like recess times, like 5-minute recess times, and doesn't give them a breather to chill their head. Of course, we don't need kids to have too much freedom. They still need to learn, but you still need to understand that they're still children. They need to still. I understand education is important, but still they need to understand that the whole world is not a cool place. It's not a dull place where there's any less freedom. There's not much imagination coming from the heads. They don't need to be imaginative. They still need those things to feel alive as long as they can, because we still all grow up at some point and we can't, live on forever. And if we want to make our dreams come true and be better people and see the world in a more positive light, we need to have future generations of kids to see our world in a better light.
Easiest thing in the world being a teenager. You get up, you go to school, you come home, and you do your homework. How do you mess that up? Yet all of you did in one way or another. And now I have to clean up that mess.
He's been going on like this for hours, telling them how worthless they are, and how only he can help them. Won't even let them go to the bathroom.
Sleep deprivation, endless harangues. It's classic brainwashing. Some cults do it. It's also occasionally used on prisoners of war.
And Wheeler's doing it to kids. Wait a minute. Somebody's trying to say something.
Dr. Wheeler, can I go back to my room? It's so late. I can hardly keep my eyes open.
No, you need to listen to this, all of you. And I've got lots more to say. Hours more.
Please.
Vincent, take him to the ISO.
The ISO? No, please! I'll be good! I promise! Please, no!
And there's even an episode, remember when I talked about in my Batman Beyond review about Egg Baby? That is an episode that really was felt a bit uncomfortable talking about, because it is a filler episode basically, and it is kind of a very silly episode. It kind of distracts you from the whole serious dark nature that Batman Beyond has in its story. But even in the episode Egg Baby, it shows about childcare, what it means to be a parent, and it shows what happens if there's an overprotective parent, and there's a parent who's basically ignoring his child and doesn't care about children at all. It shows that you need, that if you want the child to be growing up as a better person, you need to take care of them, and you need to, show them that you care about them, and try to take care of their, try to move in their interests and try to understand them, what they like and what they don't like. You don't just give them, iPhones or whatever just to shut them up, because it will run kids' brains, because it already is going badly how they just give kids iPads, and because of the internet memes or whatever, they just become nothing but assholes and like dabbing or whatever. Like, this is really cringy to talk about, but still, action cartoons are more than just children's shows. They're actually also made for both children and adults, and the fact that in children's network, when they air on children's networks, it kind of shows that the parents don't understand what action cartoons are more about. If they actually give them a chance and don't look at animation, especially 2D animation, as childish, then they would actually more appreciate these kind of shows. Nowadays, everyone, when they look at live action, they see it's more adult than animation, than 2D animation, because live action is better. CG live action is better, and no, it's not. And I'm feeling like that animation for children is more adult than anything we get in live action, because when I look at animation, I don't see it as just kid stuff. I see it as an experience. I see it as people putting their heart and soul to create something creative, something imaginative, something that has good writing and some form of original ideas. For example, Butch Hartman originally wanted to do Danny Phantom, for example. He wanted to make kind of like a Ghostbusters type of show, but unfortunately it felt like a kind of rip-off, so he decided to combine one of his favorite superheroes, Spider-Man, and one of his favorite movies, Ghostbusters, into one show, and he made this creative and imaginative idea called Daddy Phantom, an original superhero show. Of course, I still need a new this case. As you can see, it is completely fucked, cracked, so I need a replacement. But I will do it maybe later because I don't know. Sorry, I'm off topic here a bit, but still, you know what I mean. Because action cartoons are more than just kid stuff. It shows them that the action cartoons show that the world is not as sunshine and rainbows. It helps kids to be more prepared for the horribleness that is the real world, the corporate greed, and you should never give up on your dreams and try to move on with your life and try to fight your way through your depression and whatnot, and try your best to actually make your dreams come true. As you guys can tell from my concept art video, I will put these videos in the video links in the description if you want to check them out. And as you guys can see, my drawing skills are really terrible, and because of my insecurities and lack of self-confidence, I don't do much art at all, because even though my art is bad, I still try my best to actually, create good content, create amazing imaginative ideas, try to create something like a combination of my favorite action cartoons into one, specific show, and kind of create something original, something creative, and something that really lacks in modern day cartoons nowadays. Now, I'm not saying a lot of modern cartoons don't have imaginative original ideas, but a lot of them feel like reboots, rehashes, and more focusing on lackluster humor rather than talking about story, character development, and making villains as intimidating as possible. And villains, oh my god. If there's one thing I really miss is, especially in modern cartoons, is the fact that we don't have villains. A lot of people say villains are really cliche, we need more humans that are not villains, blah blah blah. Like this is the problem that the new She-Ra reboot has. I haven't watched the She-Ra reboot, but I have seen reviews of it, because fuck that noise. I'd rather watch the original She-Ra rather than the reboot one. And when I watch the reviews of it, I see how the villains are handled. I'm like, what is the point of having a villain if they're gonna get defeated by fucking military soldiers with fucking high-tech weapons, high-tech tanks, military grade A training, and they get it defeated by freaking tree branches and leaves, by freaking hippies, and they don't even put up a fight. You make stormtroopers look like more competent than the horde soldiers in the new She-Ra reboot. How do you accomplish that? You tell me. How do you even go as bad as stormtroopers in Star Wars? How do you manage that? How do you manage to do it? I ask you, how do you manage to do it? But nah, we need more like strong female characters, lesbian shit and whatnot, because who cares about story and character development? Like, this is one of my biggest complaints I have with the whole modern cartoon community. No, don't get super offensive, but the modern cartoon community care more about shipping characters and, shipping characters, who ends up with who, making whoever is gay needs to be gay, and that's all you need probably, because who gives a shit about good storytelling, who gives a shit about, threatening villains, who gives a shit about motivation, who gives a shit about hero's motivation, doing his best to fight off the great evil that is around the world, who gives a shit about his development as a character, who gives a shit about story, the consequences of the world that he's living, and the villains who have their own motivations, but they're wrong motivations, and the hero tries to teach them from right and wrong. Nah, we need more, couples, we need more gay, lesbian, LGBT stuff. That's all we need in a cartoon, apparently. And I I'm not saying you don't, I'm not saying you don't need romance, and I know I'm gonna piss off a lot of people. I'm getting a ton of dislikes when I mention LGBT stuff, because the fandom of LGBT gets really offensive, like super offensive when you talk shit about gay, lesbian shit. And like I said in so many times in my videos, I'm not against that. Maybe I don't feel the same way about these kind of relationships because I'm straight, but it doesn't mean I'm super against it. If you want to have romance in a show, go ahead, do it, but it doesn't mean you need to put romance above good storytelling and character development. You don't just do that. And the fact that modern cartoon community defend shows like the new Shiro reboot and the Star vs. Forces of Evil even because of romance stuff and them having gutsy moves like putting in LGBT stuff in a kids show, it means it gets a pass, 10 out of 10 best show ever, and it doesn't work like that. And it shows how blind the modern cartoon community has become. And I'm not saying every single modern cartoon community fandom is like this. I'm not saying all of them are like this, but a lot of them are like this, and I'm not seeing it as a good thing, because we need good storytelling, we need character development in cartoon shows, and in the lack of it, it shows that you don't really care about children's education or children's, mental state. You don't care about being more, seeing the world in a better light, having them more being imaginative, to create their own stories, to create their own shows, drawings, whatever. You don't give kids the lack of motivation to see animation as the greatest thing ever, and the fact that you see it as just kid stuff is really depressing in my book. And with action cartoons, the lack of villains is really, how should I put this? Villains need to be trending. Like, seriously, they need to be trending. Like, yes, we don't need like a generic bland villain that always sits on a chair. Oh god, that cough. I'm so sorry. But we need villains that, like Thanos. Yes, he was this blind generic villain at the start that always sits on his chair and sits on his sides without doing anything to get the Infinity Stones. But when Infinity War came up, he's like, you know what? Fuck this shit, I'm taking these Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone down with my own fist and get the Infinity Stones as myself, even though I have my henchmen do it for me. Okay? But still, Thanos gets up and he shows that he's not a villain to screw around with, and he's like, you know what? Fuck that noise. I'm gonna kill all of you. Like, that is a cool villain. That is a trending villain. And he's like, no, fuck that noise. I am taking you guys down. Fuck these heroes. Like, we need villains that actually feel like when you see the villain, you feel like, oh. Well, guys, this might be our final battle. Will we survive? 50% chance, but still, this is what makes a great villain. Like, for example, Aku is one of my favorite cartoon villains, is because the only thing that can actually defeat him is either magic, very strong magic, or Jack's sword. Those are the only two things that can defeat Aku. But without these things, Aku is pretty much immortal. And this guy, even though he's like very jokey villain, a lot of times he sits on his chair, but still a trending villain. The reason why he always sits on his chair is basically he practically has ruled the entire world, but like there's nothing else for him to do. So even though Jack tries to defeat Aku, he is not like you know what? I'm gonna send my henchmen at you. I'm still at times gonna take you on by myself. And Akua is a villain that does not screw around, especially when he tries to take you on by himself. And that is one of the reasons why I love villains like this. Slade, even though I kind of wish that I think Slade would have returned in season 6. I do not know, but even Slade with Trigon powers, even with all their even with all their combination of powers that Titans threw at Slade, but he had these powers that were given by Trigon, it wasn't not enough to take Slade down, and they know they're like. They need to do everything they can to stop this evil from ever happening, to Trigon to rise up from heavens, even though they failed. And even when they fight off Trigon, they need to also team up with one of their sworn enemies to take on the greater evil. And this is why I love villain and hero team-ups, especially hero and villain team-ups, because they're cool as shit, and they actually, if you do them right, they feel like the coolest moment in animation history, in any entertainment industry history in all times. And the reason why Titans and Slade work together because they're fighting a greater evil, that is Trigon. The reason why Optimus and Megatron work together in Transformers Prime, because they try to fight off and defeat the greater evil than Megatron himself, and that was Unicron. And I can go on, but villains also need to have motivations, but also they, at the same time, some villains also need to be very mysterious, really ominous, really like this really trending kind of thing. Like, for example, I have this really cool, really menacing, really scary villain idea I have. Yes, he sits on his chair, he's basically, but he also, by himself, puts his claws in a human skin and painfully transforms each human being in this demonic, demonize them, making demon's, turning them into demons, and I have these really cool ideas, concept arts for the demonized people. For example, male people who are turned by the Shadow Master, the villain I have. They have these really long claws, these kind of smile like Carnage has, and a lot of demonized people or animals, whatever, had these kind of creepy little smiles like Carnage has, and each of them have their unique looks and powers. For example, male people who are demonized are having these really long claws in both of their hands, and they can dig through concrete and create spikes everywhere, kind of like Marcus Phoenix, I believe. I don't know. I haven't played Prototype for a real long while, but like a Prototype, he chucks his claws in the ground and other billion spikes explode all over the place, destroying the city and whatnot. And female versions have these long tail, long tentacle kind of hairs, and each of the end of the tentacle has this kind of like a blade or whatever, and they spin around, creating this big vortex thing. And the villain itself, the Shadow Master, is like a villain that you don't screw around with. I want to make it this kind of oh shit moment in the show, when the hero first time faces him, this big bad villain, even by his facial expression you can tell, oh shit, I think I screwed up when I said I wanted to challenge him. This is what I love about villains, that you feel some kind of fear, intimidation from them.
I can't see anything.
That noise.
He is coming alone. We can't face him! We must try, Padawan. house. But where?
It's all around us.
Calm yourself. Steady. Steady. No!
And even though no matter how scary, how intimidating these villains are, Slade, Vilgax from the original Ben 10 series, Azula from The Last Airbender, the Joker from Batman the Animated Series, and on, even Darkseid from Superman the Animated Series, my absolute favorite DC villain, and still I can go on, but still, these villains are there to, you know, give heroes the fight of their lives, to give them motivation to try harder, to try come up with different strategies to take these big bad villains down. And that's what I love about villains. Now, I'm not saying every villain needs to be like this. Some villains can be quirky and funny at times, and also, but at the same time, you don't screw around like with the villains. My biggest issues with Marvel villains, especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is the fact that they feel bland as hell, and they always joke around and like, yeah, I'm a big bad villain, but I'm gonna get defeated by a hero in like 3 seconds. And this is what I don't like about Marvel Cinematic Universe, is the fact that a lot of villains, especially Ultron, who's supposed to be one of the most menacing Marvel villains in comic book history, is treated like a joke in Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I feel like I don't fully blame Josh Keaton, not Josh Keaton, that's voice actor, but Josh Whedon, the director for Age of Ultron. I don't specifically blame him for this, but I blame Disney for restricting him from creating the movie he originally intended he wanted. But they're like, nah, this is Disney, this is PG-13, we don't need to make a scary, intimidating villains, we need to make heroes look good only. Like, that's not how it works. If I learned anything from watching the Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon series, is the fact that things need to be balanced. If things are not balanced, then there is nothing but chaos and basically nothing. And without balance, like without having this kind of these kind of type of villains in your shows or movies or whatever, then there's no point of heroes like, hey, we need to take this guy out. We're gonna create even something more powerful out of, you know, some Deus Ex Machina bullshit or whatever, or give him some kind of power up or whatever. And the reasons why I don't like power-up sequences, especially for main characters, is the fact that it kind of feels cheap. If you want to have a main hero to have this kind of power-up sequence, then have him face a threat that can't defeat with the power he currently has, and give him a power-up sequence like just this once and never give him again. And even though even he can control this power-up sequence like this Deus Ex Machina bullshit or whatever, make him use it, make him feel like he needs to use it when he needs to feel like it needs to be used, but don't make him overuse it and make him like good look like he's like the god or things, because that is the main issue that Sword Art Online faces with the main character Kirito. He's basically a godlike being, every girl likes him, and he's like overpowered as shit, and now he's become a god, and there are no consequences whatsoever for him to face at all. And that is a complete bullshit when it comes to shows like Sword Art Online. But yeah. But yeah, this is my take on why actually cartoons are important for kids. Like, what do you guys feel about this topic? Let me guys know in comments how you feel about this, and yeah, I will see you guys later or whatever. This is Sam 117 signing off, and yeah, also don't forget to like and share this video with others if you want to spread the word about extra cartoons and why it is important for children to see. But yeah, see you guys later and whatever.